What's up everyone? My name is Jared from TechWorks and I am back with another video, and today we're going to talk just a little bit about kind of what's been going on in the technology world the past couple weeks. So CES 2018 has happened and has just wrapped up, and there was a whole lot of stuff going on. A big deal was made about Google Home and Amazon Alexa and Google Assistant, and how all these new products are going to have integrations with both ecosystems. They now have a Google counterpart to the Amazon Show, which is basically like a Google Home with a screen. They have new head units for stereos, for aftermarket stereos that you put in your vehicle, which has Google Assistant integration. And there's a whole lot of stuff about that from both companies. They're also, one of the bigger news topics was Huawei. They were supposed to be introducing phones into the US market with their carrier deal with AT&T. And their first phone launch was going to be the Huawei Mate 10 Pro. And I was personally excited because I really think if Huawei came to the market, especially here in the US, that could give companies like Samsung, especially with their Note line, some competition with that sort of caliber device. The Mate 10 Pro, I would say, is a direct competition with the Note. So for one reason or another, the US government kind of lobbied against Huawei coming in, because rumor has it that the Chinese government is very involved in Huawei, seeing that they are a very large telecommunications company in China, and the US is leery about having Huawei partner with these carriers and whatever Chinese socialist stuff or whatever political reasons. Bottom line is Huawei is not making any carrier deals. They all backed out. However, on a good note, the Mate 10 Pro is coming to the US in an unlocked version that's going to be sold at B&H Photo, Best Buy, Newegg, Amazon. So you will have a US version. That means you do have a warranty, and it definitely will work on T-Mobile and AT&T. I'm not sure about Verizon and Sprint at the time because of the nature of their networks. Another thing I was going to talk about, there's a lot going on with PC world as far as computers, consumer electronics, new technology when it comes to large format displays. So that's very exciting. They have monitors now that are 65 inches that have, high refresh rates and 1 millisecond or very low response rates, which is fantastic for PC gamers around. If you're kind of going to make a living room setup with your PC, instead of using a TV, which can pose problems with latency issues, you now have an option. They are going to be very pricey from what everyone is saying, but they're going to be out there. So that's a win for the PC world. The next thing I wanted to talk about briefly was I actually had an experience with a LG V30 just the other day, 2 days ago actually, and I was buying a phone on carrier plan through T-Mobile, and I went and I bought it from a very nice sales rep at my local T-Mobile store, and he was going through explaining how LG now has the second-year promise because of all their boot loop issues with their previous phones, and how great that is, and you really don't need device protection because that basically gives you a 2-year manufacturer's warranty for problems that may have happened from them. And I'm like, oh, cool, great, that's awesome. I never usually get protection anyway. But so I go home and I did the update that the software had and whatever. I'm getting apps and emails set up, and I'm looking at the screen and I see right in the middle a carrier band. I see a screen banding issue right down smack in the center, almost cut right through the home button entirely. And for those of you who don't know, screen banding is an abnormality in your display panel, which causes discolorations in a pixel. And for me, it basically looked like a faint green line going from top to bottom. And so I'm like, what the heck? That's ridiculous. This phone is legitimately 4 hours old, and I have a problem. So I hop on the internet quick, and apparently a lot of people had issues with the V30 and screen banding right off the bat. A lot of people said it happened after a week, some said after a few days, some after a few months. I was unlucky enough to get it in 4 hours. So the reason I bring it up is I actually like the phone. I thought it was cool. I like having a wide aperture camera and a normal camera. Not that the bokeh effects isn't bad. Like the Note 8 has the live focus and all that with their second camera and the zoom, and that's also a good implementation of a dual camera setup. But wide aperture is just a little more unique, and I tend to use that more when I have a device that's able to do so. So I was excited about it, and it reminded me a lot of the Pixel 2 XL because LG did have a hand in making the Pixel 2 XL, which is a phone I really like. So I thought it was a good idea, and it left me with a horrible taste in my mouth. So I went back to T-Mobile, a different store actually, and I looked at the rep and I said, you know what, I bought this phone yesterday, had my receipt in hand, and I said, there's a screen issue. And he looks at it, he goes, wow, it is. He says, when did you buy it again? And the manager had walked over at that point, and I had said, not even 12 hours ago, actually, by the time I had actually got there. I would have been at that store that afternoon when I purchased it, but they were closing and it was a Sunday. So he goes, that's ridiculous. He goes, so we can replace it with another V30. Do you want that? I'm like, not really, because now after 4 hours I've had a problem. What's going to happen, you know, a couple months down the road with this phone? Because again, I was buying it through a carrier plan, so it was a phone I was going to have long term for my business. So I ended up getting an entirely different phone, which was an LG. It was a Samsung S8 Active, the tough version. So I've mentioned it before, I'm in the construction industry. So for a work phone, the $200 Honor wasn't just cutting it. It was frustrating with speed, and if I did have to take a photo or whatever, it just wasn't doing it, especially after coming from flagship level devices. So I went with the S8 Active, which was about the same price, and you know, obviously no issues so far. It just really kind of bothered me that LG let me down so soon. And I know LG has had issues with their displays in the Pixel 2 XL, which I read an article of how some late model Pixel 2 XLs, ones that are made after October, tend to not have that blue effect than the ones earlier. I haven't actually checked that out for myself yet. I do happen to have one that was made after and before, so I'll have to actually just take a peek at it and look at what's going on. But and lastly, it was kind of a fun fact when I was talking with the T-Mobile rep the other day that he had asked me why I wanted the V30, and I said, well, it's kind of just different. You know, LG has a bad rap. I do like their devices. I have LG appliances throughout my house. I used to like their TVs a lot until I had an issue with that. And he gave me a statistic saying that, or at least for T-Mobile, and whether this is true across, you know, their company or not, but from what he had said is that T-Mobile sales, as far as brands of devices, is 90% Samsung and Apple, and 10% everything else. So I find that interesting because, I mean, I know they are the two biggest companies around, but it's almost, you know, bullying the other people out of the market, and that's why I had high hopes for Huawei. I do like their devices a lot. It's a premium device. It usually comes in at a little bit less expensive than Samsung and Apple, and I really think, you know, competition is obviously the best way to drive down price. So it kind of shocked me because I know there is a lot of good devices out there, but it kind of shocked me that 90% is Apple and Samsung combined, leaving only 10% for everybody else. That's, you know, HTC, you know, Moto by Lenovo, LG, anything else. So that's a huge number. Anyway, I just wanted to take a minute and talk about a few things because I definitely thought they were interesting. And I am going to put photos in the video about that screen issue to show everyone what it looks like exactly in case you tend to see it on your phone. It's not just limited to LG stuff. This screen banding can happen on anything. So, you know, be on the lookout for that. Obviously, contact the manufacturer where you bought it if that does happen, because unless there's damage in your device, it should certainly be covered under manufacturer's warranty. So that's what I got for this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed my PC building sections. You know, obviously more feedback is always welcome on it. I know it is kind of hard to show every little thing. So hope you enjoyed it. Hope you liked this video. Again, please like, comment, share, and subscribe for some more content. I hope to keep bringing you guys some good videos here in the near future.